Live from the internet, this is the Crystal Chronicles, your official and unofficial Final Fantasy Dissidia Opera Omnia podcast. This is episode 17, recorded on July 11, 2018. My name is Pierre, and I'm joined by usual by my good friend Mark. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Pierre.
How we
hey,
doing
Twitchers.
tonight?
Hey, Dissidians. I'm doing great. It's the first time we've done this.
Absolutely. I did not bomb the intro twice already, and this is like our third recording at the beginning. It did not happen. Never, ever. If you heard such a thing, it's an ugly rumor. So
the good news is we only redo the intro, so the rest of the show is up for grabs.
There we go. Even if the rest of the show is bomb, we won't. You know, it is what it is. So, we weren't there last week, but luckily we both stayed up to date with the content. We'll have a big episode, 2 events, World of Illusion event, and luckily, being the pro player that you are, you'll have plenty of strategies to throw our way in how to beat these events. Now, unfortunately, the special missions for the last chapters are ending in 1 hour at the time of this recording. So, you know, you won't be able, if you haven't completed them already, to get 2 armor tokens per boss. But there again, 1 armor token per boss, which is what will be remaining, same as with the previous last chapter, is still a pretty sweet deal. So look forward for that information afterward. But beginnings being beginnings, we always hit the news, and a first bit of news, something that I presume was as expected by Star Ocean fans as any mobile Final Fantasy game are by Final Fantasy fans. The Star Ocean mobile game has been released today, and the crowd goes wild.
Woohoo!
The game is called Star Ocean Amnesia or something. What's the
Amnesia? Yeah.
Amnesia.
No, it's something else, isn't it? Yeah, it's not Amnesia, right?
No,
it's something else. Anyway,
it's not Star Ocean and Forget It Ever Happened.
Yeah. Isn't it some other word? I remember them talking about it.
Anamnesis.
That's a different word, right?
It is. It definitely is.
I remember them talking about it and what it meant, right? Not right now, but I remember listening to them talking about that.
Well, dictionary.com says that anamnesis is a recollection, in particular, the remembering of things from a supposed previous experience. So
it's like the opposite of amnesia.
You are absolutely right. It is.
Yeah, so Star Ocean is a great game. You know, we love it. We've played it for I don't know however long it's been out. It takes place in an ocean of stars. So
yep, you
that's
are
literally
one of
literally
the
everything
stars.
else I know about it. You are one of the stars. It's just a star simulator. You exist until you collapse and then you play again. Yeah, it's a great game.
Funny thing is that game, the mobile game, begins during a starship and you crash somewhere. So, you know, we're not too far from that. Right now, I played it for a grand total of maybe 5 minutes, going through the intro and everything, and it's not what we're used to in terms of Final Fantasy games. And there again, I might sound super obvious to Star Ocean players. Putting it out there right away, neither of us have ever played Star Ocean. We don't know the meta, the character, the history, nothing. So right now, if you're on Twitch, or on YouTube, you can see this. I have the game open. So you just tap forward like this, and then tap the enemy until things happen, and it's just a tap fest. That's what it is. You just tap your screen forever, and eventually you win the battle. I guess it's something fun.
It's pretty. It looks good, right? I saw some gameplay on it.
No, it looks pretty
nice.
good. I just don't get the point. I mean, I'm just tapping stuff and it dies. So I guess maybe.
And I believe it's gotcha for characters.
That's my understanding as well. Kind of like the Fire Emblem game.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Cool.
But this is not Star Ocean game podcast. So let's go back to what we know, which is Final Fantasy. Now, in the Final Fantasy news, there's a two YouTube channel that you wanted to talk about that are Final Fantasy related. So,
yeah, if you haven't, there is a YouTuber, RAB Toons, capital R, capital A, capital B, TOONS, and we'll link the info in our show notes.
absolutely.
And they've been doing these cartoon series, Final Fantasy in a nutshell. They're 10, 15-minute, basically comedic synopsis of Final Fantasy games. And they have done Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, I was a little hesitant to share it because some of the, how best to put it, some of the comedy is how I would describe perhaps junior high-esque. But since I was in junior high when some of this came out, it still is a little funny to me. And having been watching the original Dragon Ball, I can attest that, yes, the Japan in the 80s is certainly not the modern world in 2018, so I think you have to associate that with some of the things that were a reality in those early games. So if you're easily offended, I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it, but if you're got a humor about you and you want to give it a try, you can start the first one and see if you like it. So yeah, go check them out.
I'm just going to play a quick bit, so if you're easily offended, you might want to skip ahead like a minute or something. So that's Final Fantasy I in a nutshell.
In a time of chaos and darkness, 4 young adults came forth holding the crystals as the prophecy foretold. The 4 warriors of light: Gay Face, Vag Flaps, Poop, and ass fart. Really? Whatever. These 4 brave heroes embarked on an epic quest to restore the 4 crystals to grace.
I don't recall ever existing before this exact moment.
Oh God.
The first one is kind of funny because it's like, well, now that you've saved my daughter for absolutely no reason, I'm going to repair a bridge that links us to the rest of the world that had been like destroyed forever. I like these.
There's a lot of logic jokes. And,
definitely.
Yeah.
So.
Convenient story plot jokes. Yeah, that's some good stuff.
Yeah. The Final Fantasy 4 one is definitely funny. If you're an Edgar fan and you don't like the Edgar bashing, I would definitely stay away from it. They do not like Edgar very much, if not at all. And still in the YouTube section, you had another channel you wanted to link.
Yeah, well, if you're looking for some more serious Final Fantasy content, there's a YouTuber who I've been following for many years, Dansgo8. That is DANSG08. He does a lot of Final Fantasy walkthrough, just playthroughs. And it's not really necessarily, he's an expert at Final Fantasy X, I will tell you that. So if you're like competitive Final Fantasy X person, he is an expert at Final Fantasy X. A lot of his other Final Fantasy walkthroughs are just walkthroughs. He just plays the game for the first time and kind of records it. He's kind of a humorous guy, and it's just kind of fun to watch if you're, doing other things. You don't want to, replay the game, but you want to kind of watch through it. He does a good job of doing that, so... I thought I'd compare and contrast a couple of my favorite Final Fantasy YouTubers. Make sure you share yours with us. Yep. We'd like to hear, some great Final Fantasy channels.
If you've got one, just send us the links either on the YouTube comments, on Twitter, Facebook, or at kupo@tccpodcast.com. So these are all the great ways to reach us. Moving on to Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. The Dawn of LiTiKo is now past or over us. And for those at home wondering, that's LiTiKo, capital L, small I, capital T, small I, and capital K, small o. And what exactly is LiTiKo?
Yeah, well, that is the current kind of, especially single-player meta. If you have fully limit broke, both 15 CP and 35 CP weapons for lightning Tidus, and LiTiKo. If you have the 3 of those, you just went through the lost chapters really easy, and we don't have to talk to you about that, because basically the 3 of those folks put together make sure your boss doesn't get any actions. So that was a lot of talk, when Tidus came out, when Lightning came out, when LiTiKo came out. So with the lost chapters, the circle is complete. We finally got LiTiKo's 35 CP weapon, and that does make her much scarier than she was, and she was already pretty helpful. So yes, how many of the 3 parts, how many of the parts do you have there, Pierre?
I have Lightning. I've got everything for Lightning. I have absolutely zip for Tidus, and it's not for lack of trying, I can tell you that. And I believe, unless my memory is messing with me, I believe I only have LiTiKo's 15 CP. Yeah, I only have the priest racket, so there we go.
Yep, that's where I'm sitting at. I have fully limit broke Lightning. I have Tidus and LiTiKo 15 CP weapons, no 35. Didn't really chase them either, so. But I've been surviving without it. But if you have it, you're going to be sailing along in the content for a while, so there won't be a lot of challenges. But I will say, did I put this in the notes here? We've been seeing, especially when the Lost Chapters came out, like 1,000 threads on Reddit for how to beat the Lost Chapters with Tidus, LiTiKo, and Lightning. That's not a strategy. That's just a thing now, so you don't have to post anything. If we have a question on this podcast, I'm just saying it for future, like, oh man, how do you beat this boss? That's so tough.
LiTiKo,
just use Lightning and LiTiKo and Tidus. Like, yeah, obviously, but for the rest of humanity, what would we like to do? So,
but are they such a killing team once they're fully limit broke, are full armor, full 15, and full 35? Or are they still decent even if you don't have either both weapons, or you're like taking Tidus with another sword, or because
you got to have them all.
Okay, so it's all nothing.
Tidus is useless without his 35 CP.
Okay,
because his 35 CP weapon makes slash the brave plus HP. Normally, it's just a brave attack.
All right.
Obviously, Lightning, you need both of her artifacts, and LiTiKo. Man, that smite bonus and the brave boost, the brave battery smite gets, and the speed that it gets is ridiculous. So I really think it only works, well, it obviously works best with all 6 weapons. You could probably live without some of the 15 CP ones. I don't know which ones. Maybe Lightning and Tidus's, but again, it does help them. I think you need both of LiTiKo's, and you definitely need Tidus's 35 CP and Lightning's 35 CP. So.
All right.
And again, those are the big ones. The 35 CP ones are the hardest to get. So very likely if you have their 35 CP weapons, you have their 15 CP weapons.
So my understanding is that all the great strategies we'll be sharing tonight do not involve LiTiKo.
Well, they don't involve all 3 pieces.
All right.
They may involve one.
So, lost chapters. Let's go through them real quick. Obviously, there's 3 lost chapters added. Hello, kitty cat. Woo!
Yow.
There's 3 lost chapters that were added. There's Baltier, LiTiKo, and Tidus. So the Baltier event are the booster machines, the big, futuristic looking machines. In the hard mode, it's like in the co-op, if I'm correct, you're fighting 2 of them, right?
Yes, you are battling 2 booster machines, and many other mobs.
Yeah, well, obviously. And if I look real quick, so for that event, the characters are Edge, Terra, and Baltier. So who did you bring to beat that? Did you beat all of the new lost chapters?
Oh, I have. I have
Okay.
beaten all of the Lost Chapters to completion.
All right.
Yes. All the new ones.
Yep.
I still haven't. There's a couple of the original 3 I haven't beaten to completion. But anyway, the new ones. So for Balthier's event against the Booster Machine, level 90, we're talking about level 90, of course, I brought Lightning, who is, you'll see that. That's, again, you're going to bring your best people. I brought Lightning, max limit broke, Terra, max limit broke, Balthier with his 15 CP weapon. I brought Ifrit. You're going to see me bringing Ifrit. Well, hey, the booster machines are weak to lightning. Why don't you bring Ramuh? Because Ifrit gives you a plus 20% attack bonus, which is useful every other battle. And remember, the mobs in these battles are very, very difficult. So I am taking Ifrit every single time. And I brought Lightning as my support. And why did I bring Lightning? Well, she has a lightning attack. Go figure. So I did not use any abilities on the mobs. I know that sounds painful, but you need your abilities for the booster machines. So yes, it's a lot of brave attack, HP attack. Try not to take HP damage because you lose your Ifrit bonus with the HP damage. It's not easy. You might need to retry a couple times. But, patience, perseverance, and get through the mobs without using abilities. Or maybe just 1 or 2. Then when you get to the 2 booster machines, focus down on one of them. Brave Shave both to prevent KO, because if you get high Brave, they're going to kill you. Summon during the Wave Cannon. So they have this Wave Cannon mode. Summon during that. Kill the one. And then summon support when you need to continue to Brave Shave, because Lightning can Brave Shave with her lightning attack, the Brave attack. She can just Brave Shave those guys to no end. So you bring the other one in when you need a helping hand. Balthier steals their buffs, which is really helpful. So just kind of use that sparingly, but. So basically try to kill one and then wait till you get to the second one with the wave cannon. Don't take the wave cannon hit. And the other thing is don't summon right away. Make sure you can take on both of them for a while because it's when you kill the one that the other one enters the wave cannon mode. So that's going to take a while, and you do not want to give them time when they're in the wave cannon mode.
Right.
So that's my strategy.
All right.
For the booster machines.
LiTiKo, the White Priest, or is that how you pronounce it? W-I-G-H-T? White. Okay.
Yes, White. Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to do like a whole race thing here, but it appeared to be the name.
That is how you say that. White.
So that's the battle where you have the one guy in the middle that keeps disappearing, and you gotta fight the 2 little ghosts on his side, and then he reappears, take a beating, and goes away again. The characters on that event are Bards, aka Bots. Is that Ida, or do I have it wrong? Anyway, and LiTiKo.
That is Yida, LiTiKo, and Bards.
And LiTiKo. So, and I remember in that battle, usually in co-op, and again, that's a way back, but usually in co-op, you'll see always one character always being used, sometimes second, rarely a third. I believe that's one of the event where all 3 characters were used. You could have any kind of matchup in that co-op battle. So, Did you go that route? Did you bring all of these 3 characters?
Not at all. Again, with the co-op, and I have Barts and I have Yida, their 15 CP weapons. You could have tried it. It's just really hard with the mobs. It's just
so
really
it's not
tough
the boss.
to get through the
it's
mobs.
grinding the mobs
it's really
to get
tough.
there.
Yeah, remember the White Priest is immune to damage until the 2 other whites are destroyed. So I brought Lightning, Squall, and Papa Lemo. That is a fully limit broke team with Ifrit and LiTiKo. Now, if you have LiTiKo, not fully limit broke LiTiKo with her Smite, her 35 CP, this is not going to be a problem for you because she is going to go to town on this. Yeah, Bart's Yida, but I would choose your better characters over those characters. So I used abilities on mobs. Yep, didn't care at all. Used all my abilities on mobs. Summoned before I killed the second white. So there's the three, one middle, or left, middle, right. So I killed one, and right before the other one died, I summoned. Okay, that's important. Then I summoned LiTiKo, and I spammed her holy attack, Smite, and make sure you bring a max limit broke LiTiKo with her 35 CP weapon equipped, and she becomes this crazy brave battery. Yeah, so killing the white in the summon makes the other guy come up and makes it a little easier, gives you extra turns, basically. Gives you a whole bunch of extra turns before he resummons them. So you can kill him before he resummons the other ones, basically. That's why you do it.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was with a friended LiTiKo, a support LiTiKo. So if you have an LiTiKo and you bring a support LiTiKo, I mean, LiTiKo's Smite just increases your brave ridiculous when she's buffed. It's just intense.
So let's see. The magic racket, which is LiTiKo's 35 CP weapon, says increases smite potency and lower its action delay, raises all party members' bravery based on LiTiKo's attack, and grants maximum speed up for 5 turns. That's pretty badass.
Well, and remember, her attack is doing a lot more because this enemy is weak to holy.
Right.
So I mean, it's ridiculous.
So it's not based on her ATK points. It's based on the damage that she does.
Well, either that or it's just because of the buff she gets. But it seems like against a wholly weak boss, it's ridiculous.
Okay.
Much more so than normal.
All right.
Yeah, so I would say I think that's probably the easiest of any of the Lost Chapters.
All right.
And I don't have LiTiKo, so if you had LiTiKo, super easy.
All right, moving on. Titus Lost Chapter from
Seymour!
Zenarkand. So the characters in that event are very obviously Titus. There's Tin Man. That's I had his name a second ago, and it's
Steiner.
You said Seymour, and it just went away. And
sure
there's Zaz. Now, obviously, I know you didn't bring a full event team.
I did.
Yeah. So how did Zaz perform?
I brought Zaz, Steiner, and Titus with their 15 CP weapons, and was quickly dispatched. So
next, moving on.
That was great. I think this is the hardest of the three, and just because you're dealing with these mankins, they're annoying. This Seymour resurrects, which is super annoying. I mean, this is a nightmare of a battle. So I brought Lightning Squall and Bapalemo. That's kind of my A team at the moment, or that was my A team at the moment with Ifrit, and I brought Setzer. Interesting. As my support. I'll get to that here in a second, I think, yeah. So I used some of my abilities, maybe one of each type, on the first 2 waves of mankins. Encourage you to watch out for Sephiroth, Lightning, and Cecil, because they can all surprise KO you if you are not careful.
Oh.
If you don't pay attention to them, because they have Brave plus HP attacks.
Right.
So I used Brave and HP attacks on the first time Seymour, waited until he respawned and summoned his buddies, and then I summoned. And I went full out on Seymour. So I attacked Seymour down with just Brave plus HP attacks. Then he respawns, summons 2 buddies, and I summoned immediately. Then I summoned Setzer to freeze Joker when Lightning was out of abilities, killed Seymour, and took the other 2 down. I started with Mary and then Cypher. I probably would suggest doing Cypher first and then Mary. So, yeah, so that really did help because his Brave can get really out of hand. And so as soon as Lightning was out of abilities, I brought Setzer in and he froze them for a couple turns while I was finishing them off. Really was able to do the trick. Definitely my least favorite of the 3 to play. it was the one I didn't want to play the most, and so it was the last one I did.
So for those at home following, Setzer's Freeze Joker ability basically prevents enemies from gaining bravery points when they hit you. So it kind of gives you a break.
Yeah,
so
super helpful.
It is. It is. What was
So
the name
that's
of that
my
again?
just
Before
what?
it was Freeze Joker. Like, was it just
Freeze Solid.
Freeze Solid? There we go.
Yeah.
That's
So that's my advice. You can check out Reddit. You can just search Lost Chapters and find some other people's advice. A lot of that advice will be Lightning, Tidus, and Ico. Just heads up. But they're beatable without that combo, and hopefully I gave you some ideas that maybe you hadn't thought about.
There we go. All right, Princess of Dalmasca. That's the Ashe event. Ashe being a princess from Final Fantasy XII. She's
from Dalmasca.
Dalmasca. Sorry, Dalmasca. What did I say?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh,
she's a princess from Dalmasca.
There we go.
You know.
Incredibly enough, she's a magic user, but she uses a sword. She looks pretty badass. Again, I didn't play Final Fantasy XII, so I don't know much about these characters. Primarily, she's a brave shaver with self-buff, and she's got unique party buffs with her 15 CP weapons and 35 CP weapons. So,
yeah, that's her big selling point. She has a unique magic boost ability and a unique physical attack boost ability that stacks with attack up and magic up.
Oh, that's good.
So, yeah, so if you have a party like I do with Squall and Lightning, Pablo has unique buffs. So those buffs will stack with her buffs, which is awesome.
Making you a lot stronger.
Yeah.
So you played Final Fantasy XII.
I did.
You did, right?
Love it.
Yeah.
I love Final Fantasy XII.
Where would you say in the game that Ashe positioned herself? She's like a good girl, kind of like Final Fantasy IX princess, or?
Oh, yeah. So Ashe is kind of the stoic princess. She's not. So Garnet is reserved, but she's still fairly innocent. She's young. Ashe is not. Ashe was probably 17 or something stupid too. But anyway, Ashe had more experience. She was married, and her husband was killed in the war. So she kind of, that happens during the beginning of the game. Spoilers. So that's like the opening cutscene. So she has this kind of. Yeah, I just ruined it for you. She has this kind of worldliness about her, juxtaposition against Vaan, who is very street smart but doesn't have a lot of bigger picture experience. So,
from what I'm seeing in the game, she looks like she's got a stick up there.
Yeah, she's not she's more like Lightning than Aerith.
She's not your typical Disney princess, joyly kind of girl.
Queen Elsa, maybe.
Yeah, right. So Mino Spellgod on Reddit writes a character introduction to Ashe, and he says Ashe is Vaughn's rival for the affection of Baltier, this serious-minded brunette to Vaughn's giggly blonde. Unfortunately for both of them, Baltier cannot love another human being because he likes bunny girls.
I think that's the perfect way to describe. Yeah, I may have said it before. I love Final Fantasy XII, and I love that world. That's one of my favorite Final Fantasy worlds. I love Baltier. I don't like most of the other characters. And I dislike Van quite a bit. Anyway, but I still have him and pulled for all of this stuff. But you know what I think it is? Not getting off topic too much.
Nah, let's get off topic.
So I was an adult, like an older adult, a post-college adult, let me put it that way, when Final Fantasy X came out.
Final Fantasy
X,
okay.
Yeah, when Final Fantasy X came out, right, we were in our 20s.
Final Fantasy X came out in 2001.
Yeah, so 20. Anyway, it was around that time that, Tidus kind of was annoying to me. And then, skip ahead a couple years for Final Fantasy XII.
Which was released in 2006.
Yeah, so, several years. Anyway, so 2006, I'm 25, and the 14-year-old or 16-year-old, 17, however, I'm already done with that crap. So those characters start to annoy me more and more, and so I begin to get drawn to the older characters. Except in Final Fantasy X, Wakka's the older character. I didn't like him, but Auron, I love Auron. I love Lulu. Other reasons, but her magic. I love magic users, black mages.
You love Lulus?
I love black mages. But yeah, so, Final Fantasy XII, Belthier, and Bosch, and some of the older Fran, of course, some of the older characters. I like even Penelo and Ashe. I liked Ashe more than Penelo. But yeah, kind of the youngster stuff. I got dreams of, I'm done with that stuff. So, I'm going to get, the older I get, the more annoyed I'm going to get at these, pretentious teenagers.
Get off my lawn.
On my lawn. So, I just have to.
My lawn. That's what I meant to say. All right.
So, but I love Final Fantasy XII. It's a great game.
So how is she as a character in Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia? Because I heard there was a lot of excitement for her coming up, and a lot of people saving their gems to pull on our weapons, right?
Yeah, I've been saving those things since the game started for this particular banner.
Really?
Yeah, because this is the Vaan and Ashe banner, and so I wanted to get a complete set of weapons. I only needed Vaan's 35 CP weapon, and then both of Ashe's. I spent 200 summon tickets and got 3 5-stars. The odds are 1 in 20.
Wow.
So I don't know where that happened, but I did finally, just yesterday, on my Aerith summon tickets, get Ashe's 35 CP. And I got Vaan's 35 CP after all of those summon tickets and then all of my gems. So
you're down at 0-0?
No. Well, I'm down at 0 tickets. I'm back up to, I don't know how many, because that was before. I got about 10,000 gems now.
Okay.
Literally, I got 10,780 with the content I beat after I spent those Vaan gems.
And are you satisfied with your investment?
Yeah, no, I love Vaan. I like him in this game a lot. He's just a nice DPS character and has some magic utility, so I really like that. I think Ashe is a great character. I haven't played around with her too much, but I like the unique party buffs. And yeah, I think she'll be a nice niche character to throw in here and there and everywhere. So I'm happy with my expenditures of gems and tickets on that particular banner. And I only got 400 Penelo daggers. I think I got 3. So I did pretty good on the Penelo dagger situation, because I've seen listeners and people we follow on Facebook and Twitter and Reddit who ended up with, 4 out of every 5 weapons were Penelo's dagger. So that smarts. Yeah. Not that Penelo's not a great character in this game. She's just not good at all. In this game. She wasn't particularly useful in Final Fantasy XII, if I recall. I recall ever using Penelo very much, but
I'm looking at pictures of Ashe in Final Fantasy XII, and you got to tell me something. How the heck is that dress appropriate for a princess? I mean,
well, you got to look at the clothing of everyone in that game.
Really?
They live in a desert.
You're going to tell me that Baltier wears something that barely hides his shame?
Well, everybody. Well, okay, yeah. No, it's It's what it is.
So it's a Final Fantasy 12 thing. Yeah, that's why.
She's got a short skirt or pants, short skirt. I don't know if we've ever really figured out if she's wearing pants or a skirt.
That has to be a skirt.
They're very short.
That doesn't look like pants at all.
I mean, you dress how you want to dress.
No, I know, but when you look at, let's say, British monarchy,
there's a 6 foot tall bunny woman in this game. I think.
Touché.
I think our preconceived notions may just have to leave. Yeah, Belthair is fairly modestly dressed. Vaan's not. Vaan has, he's showing a little too much. You better be careful. That's all I'm saying.
It is a bunny. Wow. You know what? I never took the time to realize that she does have awfully long bunny ears.
Yeah, there's a whole village of those.
Oh.
So it's a whole part of the story.
At some point, I'll have to play this. I think it's missing to my Final Fantasy education.
Like I said, I love the world. I think the world's really cool. My biggest problem with that game is there's a lot of cool political things happening, and you're running around sewers.
I remember you saying that.
Cool stuff, and now you get to fight Flan, and there's all these cool sky battles happening, Imperial intrigue. There's this whole judge subplot that's amazing. I'd like a whole game about that. That's great. Like I said, I love the world. Not every part of that particular game is my favorite.
All right. So I heard there's a co-op battle in that event as well. That's
Skull
Dragon Soul. He is weak to Oli and Ice. So that means that LiTiKo is your go-to again.
Yeah, it's
with R35 CPU weapon. Obviously.
Yeah, I think I wrote in my notes. I've seen Ashe, Vaan, Penelo. Yeah, you heard that. LiTiKo, Preesh, Lightning, Titus, Squall, Vincent, Ramza. Pretty much anyone can kill this poor thing. Yeah, it's really quite sad.
It's not Have you already done all of your missions?
I don't know how maybe 800,000 on that one. I've not been going all the way up to 1,600,000.
Well, no, I mean to get the armor tokens. The rest is just...
Yeah, so I'm at 840,000. That is 841,003. That is my point total. Let me just read it as it is.
Yeah, that's not too shabby.
Yeah, but I'm a little behind in Aerith. I'm only at 330,000 on Aerith, so I've not gotten my armor tokens yet. My 4 additional ones.
Gotta get working on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, any particular strategy, or just go in and wipe that stupid thing?
Just beat it. Yeah, Prish and LiTiKo probably... yeah, Prish LiTiKo for Holy, Vaan and Ashe and Penelo are buffed. Papa Lamo has ice. I mean, Titus, Lightning.
I'm sorry if you heard that. The cats are destroying stuff.
I mean, anybody we've left out. Don't bring Zaz, I guess.
Well, he doesn't really have any...
Snow, what's that other 7 or whatever? What's the Type 0 character with ice damage? Cater? 7. We don't have 7 yet. Cater. 5. Cater. Or 4. 4 Cater. I don't remember. Anyway, Cater is the name of the character. She has ice, but yeah, I had Vaan, so he just ate through it. If you have 3 Vaans, it's pretty disturbing. The damage output is ridiculous.
All right. So we talked about the banner real quick. Pull on that, don't pull on that. What would you say?
I pulled a lot on it.
Yeah, you went all out.
Yeah, I think Ashe and Vaan are going to be... it's hard to say Ashe and then say Vaan for me, apparently. Ashe and Vaan, are going to be good long-term characters. Obviously, the meta in Japan is very strange, but speaking of which, they stopped updating the Japanese tier list. So
it's gone.
We did that 2 weeks ago, talked about the Japanese tier list, and now they've said, we're not updating it anymore. So, maybe it's not very important to start looking at that.
Well, it's not they're not updating it anymore. They changed the format. Instead of rating everybody on an equal thing, I believe they have like top 5 magic characters and top 5 speed characters, and I think that's how they're doing it now.
Oh, okay.
So
I have to look into that.
All right. An event that's been going on for a long time. It's nothing new. You might have beat it a couple times already. Radiant Artifacts. You've got 6 days at the time of this recording to grind all of your artifacts for all of your characters, with the exception of Ashe and Aerith. So, obviously. Moving on real quick. There's the permanent Ramuh summon event that's here now. Ramuh is not your most helpful summon at all.
He is not.
He is not. So he raised at level 20. He raises your defense by 40% when your HP is less than 50%. So at that point, you're already a bit screwed. The EX battle is that awful Kraken with the little red ball in the mouth.
The S&M Kraken.
The S&M Kraken. That's going to be his new name.
Oh, wow.
If you have lightning fully limit broke, she kicks some major ass in there. And, any other character will come in and help. It's not a super hard fight, to be honest.
Yeah. If you have LiTiKo, you're going to be... it's going to be real bad for that Kraken. But even not,
Well, he likes the pain, so he's going to be taking some pain.
It's, he won't even get an... I'm not even sure... I'm not even sure he got an action when I fought him. I may have killed that thing without him taking an action, and I don't have... Titus or Ico, so
that's not too bad. And now, moving on to inheriting the past, introducing Aerith, the flower girl in Final Fantasy VII that dies. Spoiler.
Spoilers. Spoilers.
And it's, I've mentioned a few times, this is our 17th episode, and I've mentioned a few times that something that confused the hell out of me in this game is how exactly it positioned itself in the whole canon history of Final Fantasy. And in one of the clips, there's Sephiroth and Aerith looking at each other, and Sephiroth's like, well, I don't care about you right now, and blah, 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 so on and so forth. And it's really weird. I mean, did they take them out of the world before he killed her, or like... That whole thing is weird to me.
Maybe nobody really has complete memories. Sorry, because that was a weird... Her storyline in this game, in Dissidia, Final Fantasy Omnia, was a little strange because she spent most of the time dealing with Kefka and...
guy from Final Fantasy IX. Naked guy from Final Fantasy IX.
Kuja. What's that guy's name? Kuja and Kefka. And then, all of a sudden, Sephiroth shows up, and you're like, okay, where are you? And Cloud was like, oh, Aerith, you're alive. And he was like, oh, it's Aerith. Great, cool.
Actually, never died.
Like, oh, Aerith's here. So... yeah, I have no idea. Maybe we'll find out. And probably not, but where everyone's going and why. So it's going to be really awkward for all the Final Fantasy II characters who get killed, which is like half the game, right? All of the NPCs who die in that game.
Well, we have Galuf that dies in Final Fantasy V.
Yeah,
and he didn't care. And there's Zelina that replaces him that gets in the game, and she doesn't care either. So, Dissidia
Also
Final
true.
Fantasy Opera Omnia. If you ever died, you'll be in the game.
Yeah.
It's like the EA Sport. If it's in the game, it's in the game.
in the game.
Motto. Dissidia, if you're dead in the game, you're in the game.
Don't worry about it. You're in the game. Don't worry about it.
So,
Yeah.
what are we to expect from Aerith? Why is she so special?
Well, Aerith, I believe, is our first real healer.
What do you mean by
Now,
real healer?
We've had people with healing abilities. LiTiKo has HP regeneration. Rem has a healing ability. But that's kind of a secondary ability compared to their other abilities. You're not using LiTiKo for her healing ability very often. You're not using Rem at all right now. Eventually she becomes much more useful. But Aerith does full party healing. She heals everyone in the party. And she can resurrect, revive, raise.
That's
however,
the first.
Yes, and she is the first character that can raise fallen party members. Which is not something we've really needed to use, but there may be a time that is particularly useful. Not forgetting that no KO status, but...
I wonder if that's affected if you revive a character.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Will it apply? Will you get the no KO flag or?
I don't know, but I'm assuming yes. But anyway, she is, and man, in this event, I don't know if you've co-opted with an Aerith, Max Limit Broke Aerith.
I have not.
This current boss that we have in the co-op has
Behemoth?
this. Yeah, the King Behemoth has this AoE attack that's brave and HP attack and can basically damage everyone in the party for thousands of HP. So I've played a couple times where the entire party's gotten down to like 500, 1,000 HP. Aerith comes along and heals everyone up fully. one ability, everyone's healed.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
So speaking of King Behemoth, he's weak to fire, which is, pretty bad for him because a lot of people have full limit broke Papalimos, and he's a pretty badass small guy. But as you said, he's got a pretty nasty AoE brave plus HP attack, so that can take you off guard at some point. What character do you bring to that battle? Papalimo?
I have brought Papalimos. I have brought Vaan. I have brought Lightning. And just with a couple options. I've done it with a Aerith, multiple Aeriths. She does do very well in this event. I don't really think you need her healing. I've never died. I've never had anyone KO'd in this event. But obviously, with her, you're not going to be worrying about that.
Yeah. Is that a where was I going with this? Still with Chocobo and Sylph as your summon. We're still in that meta.
Yeah, we're still.
Don't bring Ifrit.
Chocobo, Sylph.
All right.
Yeah, I will say. So Tidus combined with Lightning and LiTiKo in single player is really good. Tidus in these co-ops, I am not a big fan of seeing Tidus. He eats up turns and does very little damage. And so every time I've co-opted with a Tidus in the last several weeks, it's just up to the turn count by 5 without him doing any damage particularly. So I would, if you have other options, now Tidus, if he's your guy, then he's your guy. But if you have other options, I would encourage people to stay away from Tidus in these events unless he's buffed, because he just does not do the damage.
Well, it's kind of like teaming up with Terra.
Yeah. If you're doing single player, it's great because every turn you get makes sure the boss isn't getting an action. But it doesn't matter in co-op because all of our turns collectively up the turn counter, right? So you're just wasting turns when Papalimos is doing much more damage Aerith is doing much more damage, Lightning's doing much more damage, Squall's doing much more damage, Vaan's doing much more damage, I mean, etc. Vivi, I haven't seen any Vivis yet, but he does do fire damage.
He does. Now the banner, we have Aerith 1535, we've got Steiner's 1535, and for some reason Shadow with his 15. Now everybody went all out on Ashe, so most people don't have much to spend anymore, but should they have champs to spend, would you recommend pulling on that banner? Is Aerith so awesome that it would make sense?
I mean, obviously, I'm not a huge Aerith fan, but if you're a huge Aerith fan, you're probably pulled on Aerith already, so don't worry about it. It's a rough banner with Steiner and Shadow, and I love Steiner and I love Shadow in the games. Neither of them are very useful in this game. Steiner has a little bit of use against the Mankins, but man, it's so limited. Yeah. I mean, if you have a fully max limit broke Steiner, he's probably really good in that.
I've seen a few.
Titus Lost Chapter. And he might be good in this event. I don't know. I've not seen one.
I've seen a few full limit broke Steiners, though. So I know they're out there. They exist.
It's it's a weaker banner than the Ashe banner. It's definitely a weaker banner than the Lost Chapter banner. It's a weaker banner than the Lightning banner. If you still have any orbs or gems. I know. Well, and we got some other people coming up, so yeah.
You said in the outline, hope you don't regret it when Sephiroth kills her in Chapter 9 and she's unplayable. That was...
Oh, that happens.
Oh, boy. Steven in Twitch says, Aerith's event is quite refreshing. First time we have this format, dialogued and battled and dialogued and battle. And most of the battle bosses are not the same clone. And in fact, this time we have a real healer that can cast Revive. So... If you're...
No, I like the event, and like I said, I like Aerith a lot. I think she's interesting and different, unique. I wish she was on a banner with some better options.
Well, I got Steiner's 35 CP when I was trying to get fricking Aerith's weapon. And let me just go real quick, find where it is. Tin Can, where are you? There he is. Gearless. So the 35 CP increases Spellblade potency and grants small defense up and brave regen for 4 turns. And I thought that was pretty good. I'm wondering, if you sell a 35 CP weapon, does it give you anything more than a Power Stone, or? No?
I don't know. I don't have any experience doing that, but I would assume just 1 Power Stone.
Okay. Well, let me try. I mean, I won't do it. Oh wait, he has it.
Oh yeah, you can. So. You should be able to see without selling it, right?
Yeah, but it's locked, and he has it equipped, and bah.
Yeah.
On Twitch, we're being told no, just normal Power Stone. So there we go. Question of the week: what is your favorite Final Fantasy song? What is your favorite in-game music from Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia? My favorite song is the opera from Final Fantasy VI. Oh, my hero, so far away now. I'll never forget that. I love the character selection music, which is the theme for this show. One of my good songs. What about you, my friend?
Well, my children love One Winged Angel and request that we listen to it on a regular basis.
Oh, wow. I would, like in the car, I couldn't listen to that. I would.
Yeah. No, they love One Winged Angel. Because they love Cloud.
Well, there we go.
So, and my youngest son loves Sephiroth because he's evil. Yeah. I really like, 2 of my favorite pieces are from Final Fantasy VIII. That's my favorite Final Fantasy game. And I love both of the fight themes. Don't Be Afraid is the main fight theme, and Man with the Machine Gun is the flashback fight theme when you're playing Laguna.
Yeah.
If
you've been with us for a long time and you remember Ben, that was his favorite team as well, the man with the machine gun.
Yeah. I have the orchestral soundtrack from the concert series that I actually went to several years ago. It's been a long time. Let me see I forget what the I forget what the album is entitled, but I will look. So the composer who did the music for the first 12 or 13, I think 12 Final Fantasy games, he went on tour.
Nobuo Uematsu?
Yes.
Nobuo Uematsu.
Butcher his name here. He went on tour, and he was in the area, and so me and a whole bunch of my friends got together. See if I can see what this is without turning it on. Yeah, so the album, if you're interested, you can get the album version of the concert, and it's 2002 0220. So 2002 0220 by Nobuo Uematsu. Nouematsu. And that's the concert version of a lot of the great songs from the first 10. First 10. In the concert, he did some music from 12 because 12 was not out yet. But the album does not have it. So hearing this music in concert is just breathtaking. I mean, it's like hearing John Williams. I've heard John Williams in concert many times, and hearing his music in concert is just exceptionally powerful. But, you know, the Final Fantasy music we never really heard in concert for how many years? It's not like, you know, if you go to Star Wars, you're going to hear the full orchestral version of the music in the movie. If you play Final Fantasy VII, you know, you're getting MIDI, right?
Yep.
Or 6 or 4 or 3, you know, all that. And so to hear it fully orchestrated is really great. So.
Yeah, we had a couple of concerts like that around Montreal or Toronto or
they
Ottawa,
still do it.
and I missed them. And one of these days I will. But I believe Nobuo Uematsu came in Canada at some point recently, in like 1 or 2 years, and I couldn't. Anyway, we have an email from Nathan who said that his favorite music is NVIDIA from Final Fantasy XV. So this just for you, Nathan, and because I'm curious, here's a few seconds of that song. I just want to listen to it real quick.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Let's see. That's a great song.
Yeah, it's the Imperial theme, so you get it during a lot of Imperial battles. I think multiple.
Yeah, that's a great song. He goes on saying, I like the boss battle with Arania so much better because of the music that plays in the background. Favorite boss theme in all RPGs I have played. So.
Yeah, I really like Arania, so I would really like to play a game with just her as the main character.
All right.
She seems really cool.
Next week, now with LiTiKo, Ashe, and let's throw in Aerith as well. Those banners are ending or done. Who or what are you saving for now? Are you keeping yourself for the EX banners whenever they come? Is there another character that you've got your sight on? Let us know on YouTube comments, Facebook, Twitter, or by email by writing to kupo@tccpodcast.com, just like Nathan did. So that will be our question. Actually, I said next week. I'll say it right away. We're not going to be having a show next week. It's going to be in 2 weeks. Summertime is not always easy to get around, and I won't be able to record a show next week, so it will be in 2 weeks. Upcoming events. You've got Lion in 4 days. You've got the Alexander Summon, which is Mark's favorite summon, in 6 days. And an event, I believe there was some confusion in terms of what event was going to follow after that, and turns out it's going to be Auron with the legendary Guardian. I guess the order in the Japanese game was a bit different, and that's why a lot of people were confused.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for me not to pull on that banner.
Because you like Auron
so much. So much. He's one of my favorite characters.
So, all right. Anything else before we wrap this up? Did we forget anything? Nope.
We covered a lot.
We did.
We probably did forget something.
Yeah, but we wouldn't know because we forgot.
Yeah.
So
I've been sampling the Crystal Chronicles brand new scotch, so I'm a little foggy.
Still waiting for my bottles, by the way.
Yeah. Well, it's still in the test phase.
I know. So that's going to be our show. That was episode 17, recorded on July 11th. Thank you to everybody that was live on Twitch with us. That's twitch.tv/The Crystal Chronicles. We're on Twitter again at FFTCC Podcast. We're on Facebook at The Crystal Chronicles and on the web at tccpodcast.com. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everyone. Have a good time, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for episode 18. Have a good one.